We are live with another episode of the Evolution Franchising Podcast. My name is Mike Welch. I'm the founder of Evolution Franchising, and we help people find and evaluate great franchise opportunities. And with us today is my buddy Bob McQuillan. I've known Bob for many years. Bob is the, let's get it right, Chief Strategy Officer and also an investor in the company, right, Bob?
I am, Mike, and thanks for having me on the show today. Really appreciate it.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Why don't you share a little bit about your background?
Sure. Yeah. So Bob McQuillan, as Michael said, I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for the company, also a partner, also on the board of directors, and I've been with the company now for a year and a half. My history in this industry, I've been with a couple different brands prior to this one. One was called Hollywood Tans, which was an indoor tanning salon franchise, and the other company that I was with for 11 years, and I was also a partner in, was called Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Two great companies. I had really an enjoyable time and a great run with them, and really excited about my post-retirement type voyage here with Body 20.
Yeah, so listen, we have to touch on that for just a second. This is off script and it's completely impromptu, but you retired. I remember you announced a retirement and it lasted what?
4 weeks. It was short-lived, and I did that mainly because one, my own sanity. Two, I truly believe my wife would have either stabbed me in my sleep or divorced me, or both.
I always tell folks franchising is like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
You can never leave. That's right. That's right.
Now, we're going to spend a lot of our time today talking about Body 20, obviously. That's why we're here. Great franchise brand. Really excited about it. But I've also seen you partner in these other franchise companies at the corporate level. And in addition to that, you do something that's really unique. You don't just invest in the corporations, you also open units. I've seen you do that. Is that trend going to continue to be present in the Body 20 business model?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting point, Mike. Back when I started looking at franchising, it was prior to franchising. I was a corporate guy. I worked for Cisco Systems in the medical industry. I worked for a company called US Surgical, awesome companies. And then when I got into franchising, I started looking at different brands. And then I started to talk to different types of salespeople at different concepts. And every one of them were very consistent. They had the best brand in the country. There's no doubt. And I should invest my own money in this. And none of them ever owned the brand that they told me was so great and that I should really jump on this train now, Mr. McQuillan, because it's a great investment. Your territory won't last. And I always thought, gosh, if I ever sat in that type of seat, I think it would just instill great credibility if I owned the brand that I was selling. So I started doing that at Hollywood Tans. We owned multiple units, ended up selling those and getting into something more health and wellness, which was Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. And then we owned units in Center City, Philadelphia, and South Jersey as well, which ironically, and back to your point and your question, I'm developing with a partner those two areas in Philadelphia as well as Southern New Jersey. And I'm very familiar with the territory, and we're starting with the purchase of 6 units. We're in negotiation for 3 locations already. So yes, to answer your question in a long manner, yes, I am continuing that trend.
Yeah, you got your money where your mouth is in a couple of different ways, right? So, well, let's dive into Body 20, right? So tell us a little bit about the franchise concept and really what makes it so unique. It's a different kind of a gym franchise. You might not even I don't even know if that's the right term, Bob.
Well, it is in all essence, at the end of the day, I guess you can call it a gym, but we call it a studio, right? We are in boutique fitness, if you will. That's kind of the category that we're in, which is unique because we're as in a gym, you've got 50, 100, 200 people working out at the same time. With us, you have a trainer and you have one person and there's 4 quadrants. So each trainer, we call them coaches, each coach will train one person. And and I have to tell you, when I was introduced to this brand, I thought my first reaction was it's hokey, it's a fad, and they're going to kill people. When I start looking at Body 20 is a workout. It lasts 20 minutes. You're going to burn 700 to 1,000 calories in 20 minutes. And it's the equivalent of doing 3 to 4 hours of strength training in a gym. Now, who in their right mind will ever believe that? Until, like me, I got in the suit and for 12 minutes, I was completely flat on my back. I was gassed. I needed a nap. before dinner to go out that night. And it was crazy. But what it is, Mike, is it is electromuscular stimulation. So EMS, and a lot of people know this, if you've had a bad back or a surgery, a lot of times you'll go to physical therapy and they will attach a TENS pad to the area that was compromised to re-engage a muscle or a muscle group around the tendon or ligament that was repaired, right? So we've all probably experienced that once or twice in our lives. This is conceptually, it's the same concept, but this is delivered in hertz, right? So that's kind of the energy format that this gets delivered. It's from a machine, and these electronic impulses are sent to this suit. It's much like the suit is like a ski vest that you might wear on a boat, right? A water skiing vest. But there's the top to it, and then they have bands that go around the arms, the biceps, triceps, and then your back is covered, then your quads and glutes and hamstrings. It's a full body workout, but only goes down to the elbows and down to the knees. The reason being is your tissue's too thin in your forearms and your calves. It would cramp you up too significantly, but the energy does migrate to those areas, so you will get a full workout. So to give people an understanding and how to, instead of getting too technical with it, when we lift weights as human beings, we're going to contract our muscles. So if we're doing a curl or a press or a squat, whatever it is, our brain sends a signal through our central nervous system to tell our muscles to contract. So basically, instead of your brain doing it, this machine biohacks the brain, and we contract your muscles by this machine. So in 90 minutes to 2 hours, where you and I would go do a weight or strength training workout, we would contract our muscles in that 2 hours on average 1,500 times. Well, what our brand does and our concept and this machine does in the suit, we'll contract your muscles in 20 minutes. We'll contract them 36,000 times. So it's 1,500 as a human, 36,000 with the Body 20 concept.
I have never had the suit on, Bobby, but I have talked to numerous people who have, and they all are absolutely amazed by it. It is like okay, so when you and I first started talking and you told me about this, I don't know what, a couple years ago, I thought that he came out of retirement because he lost his mind.
Right.
Like
That's what most people said.
they're gonna kill people with this thing. Just as I had the same thoughts that you did.
Right.
And then, you guys have just proven this out, and every single person I know that has ever worked out with Body 20, and we're talking about dozens of people at this point, have said it's a game changer. This is legit, this is real, this is intense. And you need to get in this suit. So I've got to get in that suit one of these days soon.
It is amazing. You'll love the workout, and that's why people love it, because it saves so much time, because it's so energizing, right? It's really an invigorating workout. When you go through this, you'll be amazed at how basically, I mean, you would think you would done a workout. If someone put you to sleep or hypnotized you and then put you in the suit for 20 minutes and woke you up, you would feel like you've done a workout for 2, 3, 4 hours. But yet it's been 20 minutes and you burn 700 to 1,000 calories, and you've just got out of your body what you can't put your body through. So
is this a big thing? I mean, is there a competitive landscape that the layperson might not know when it comes to EMS fitness?
It's not a big thing yet. We're kind of the first mover. We do have one competitor that has any size to have double-digit units. I mean, we've got 16 locations. They have about 10. Our performance is not even close. We're off the charts. And just to give you an idea, we've sold in the last 10 months approximately 150 franchises in the last 10 months. We've overhired for this. We've got 22 full-time employees with 16 locations. So, and we've been able to develop an unbelievable team. Really, after COVID, it allowed us to place people all around the country. So, yeah, whereas former brands that I worked with, you tried to get people that could report to an office. Well, we have the luxury now of grabbing talent all over the country. So we've been able to grow exponentially because of it.
The way you guys, you grew through COVID in a way that was really interesting. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I've never been in the fitness world before, as far as owning a fitness center or a studio like this. But what I found out was, certainly have never been through a pandemic before COVID hit. But during COVID, because we're one-on-one training, we're considered essential. And we did a shut down for a
Ah,
very short amount of time, but we were able to open back up very quickly. And what we found out was because of the big box gyms and larger fitness centers, they had to completely shut down. It drove people to find out about Body 20 and what this little 20-minute workout's all about. Then they realized how impactful it was in a short amount of time, and it could free them back up to do other things during their week. It basically replaces 8 hours of training in two 20-minute sessions. So
so
you think about
the pandemic helped Body 20. There's
it
not a
did.
lot of businesses that can say
Our
that, right?
year-to-year growth was fantastic because of it. Now it's continuing.
Okay, so and you got 16 of them open. Without going into the numbers, how are the franchisees doing? What would people hear if they were to talk to these, the owners of these 16 open locations?
They're doing great. I think primarily one of the major things is, people like yourself that have sent us candidates to work with. They are, I mean, there's a very high bar that we've set, Mike, as far as who we're bringing into this franchise. As you know, franchise
Smart.
is built on the backbones of your best people, right? And we're only bringing in the best of the best. So, and they're buying multiples because what they're looking at is a strategy, right? They're looking at their end game or their exit strategy, whether that be 5, 6, 8, 10 years from now. And what they're doing is they're buying multiple units. They understand that this concept is not going to be around for a while. And if you wait a few months or 6 months, your territories that you wanted to develop could be gone. So we're actually averaging right now, it's trending up 2.5 sales for every person or every group that buys.
And so, for the people who are watching that might not be hip on the lingo, what that means is that every candidate that evaluates Body 20 that moves forward and who is approved by the franchisor, I know these guys are wildly particular, is acquiring almost 3 territories right out of the gate. That's
Right.
that's before they ever say, "Wait a second, there's starting to be other people looking around my neighborhood. I'm going to go ahead and buy that one." So we're not
Yeah.
talking about coming back for more. We're talking about out of the gate they're acquiring in between 2 and 3 territories.
Correct. And obviously they're validating. So they're validating with other franchisees, and each business we continue to open has just been it's been almost a record setter every time.
It's amazing. Now, and so is that why I know the banks are bullish on this concept. There's some tightening in the financial space in the franchise world right now, and it seems like the banks are just lined up to invest in you guys or to loan money for franchisees who are investing in you guys.
Yeah, so we were able to procure a significant round of funding here to start. Benetrends, which has been a strategic partner of ours, has lined up 3 different banks that are allocating $10 million each. So we've got a round of SBA funding positioned for our franchisees in the amount of $30 million.
That's
I mean,
amazing, Bob.
as an emerging brand, how excited I am to basically launch this product or this service out to our franchisees.
Yeah, so that puts you in a category of one. There is one franchisor in the country who has 16 locations open and a $30 million round.
That's correct.
That is amazing, bud. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, you know, you're widely respected in this industry. Everybody knows Bobby Mack. Now, you've been there and done that. You've been an investor, you've been a franchisee, you've been a partner, you've done all. Any big surprises since you became a partner at Body 20? Is there, other than the fact that the workout actually works, it's not going to kill people? And
Yeah. The big surprise there's a couple actually. When I look back on this journey, although it's been less than a year and a half, really, quite frankly, the people that we've brought in, amazing. So the 2 surprises for me. One, not that we have great people, because that's how we're building the company. That's our culture, right? But the 2 things that really have amazed me or surprised me. One is that we're going to do this again. It's not going to be Body 20, right? But we're going to do this again with another brand. So because we have, like, how could you couldn't screw this up with the people that we have, right? That's kind of what the culture that we've built. Like, why would you stop doing this? If you have the energy, the passion, and the knowledge, why would you stop doing that? So that's number one. Number two, I'm surprised at how quickly this has gone. I mean, it's like there's a lot of companies that plod along. We're going to sell out the country in less than 3 years.
I
So
don't think I think you would be the only person that knows you that's surprised by that, Bob. The reality is
I,
when
I,
you get involved with something, franchising kind of wants to know what's Bob doing? Why did Bob come out of
Right.
retirement to invest in this, Body 20 suit
Very,
workout
very
franchise?
nice of you to say, Mike, but there's a lot more talent behind me than just this pretty face.
Well, I've met,
Which isn't
listen,
so pretty
I
anymore.
met Chris. That dude is like the mad scientist, right? I mean, I love hearing him talk
Chris,
about
he
yeah,
is young and he's brilliant and he's got a great work ethic. And you know what? He's an integrity guy. He's a family guy. He's tremendous. And my other partner, Greg, he's our CEO, another tremendous, tremendous person, and another family guy. Just had a little baby boy. And then we have one other partner who's really kind of involved. Two other board directors, but the other partner is actually Greg's father, Kerry Breitbart, who is an amazing human being and extremely brilliant, and had two big exits from the energy sector. And he provides a lot of the kind of really experienced questions that maybe the three of us haven't had yet. I've had a lot, but he certainly has had more. And the runner-up to the Ernst & Young CEO of the Year award twice. So
really.
talk about legitimate and an exceptional businessman. We've got everything and the talent behind it and the funding.
So let's take a not so fun turn, right? Because
Yeah.
we got to keep it real here. There's no such thing as a perfect business, right? So, and I say this in every one of these podcasts, video casts, whatever they're called, that if it were easy, everybody would do it, but it's not. It's hard. And
Yeah.
even though you're buying into a franchise where there's systems and processes and structure in place, we still have to go work our tails off to make this thing happen. Now, there are some things that your franchise owners will need to be able to work through and overcome on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual basis in order to be successful. So, what are some of the things that you guys are seeing that a successful franchisee has to be able to work through in the Body 20 business model?
So there are a number of things that in any business today, right? One, personnel. So hiring has been even since the pandemic, hiring is still an issue for people. So that would be the one thing. Like if we couldn't get people to do what we need them to do, to be the coach, to be the salesperson, to be the manager of the business, that would be a road bump that I would consider to be really not detrimental, but it would elongate our process and it would take a lot longer to get stores open, et cetera. The other part of it is real estate, right? This is a trend that I'm seeing. It's starting to loosen up a little bit. A year ago, it was extremely difficult. Now I'm starting to see some signs of us being able to procure real estate. That's really number two. The third example is, well, not the third example, but the way we're combating this, it's pretty easy. One, we have a membership that's $250 to $350 a month. So, and we're only going into affluent areas. So from a recession standpoint or a hiring standpoint, we feel really good about being able to pay people because we can pay them great commissions, and it could be the coolest place to work, and they could make more money than they could at other businesses that maybe don't pay commissions or don't have as high as a membership to be able to afford that. So those are the reasons I think we're really well positioned. The other part of it, Mike, is it's great to sell 150 franchises, right, in 15 months. Well, the good news is for us, I'm not worried about the execution. My partners fixed all this before I got here. They shut down sales for a year and a half. When have you ever heard that? To perfect the they stopped selling franchises for a year and a half, revised the model, created this new 2.0 version, recruited the people to do the pre-sales process. Since that has been done, this business has been a rocket ship, and now we have the personnel in place to execute at the street level. So I'm excited about it. There's nothing keeping me up at night today, but those were just a couple of the concerns that I might have going forward.
Yeah, so nothing out of the ordinary here. We've got to be able to find, love on, and retain high quality employees. You guys do that by incentivizing them in a way that many of the other places that they might work cannot,
Correct.
because you are charging a premium. And for anyone who thinks about this and says $250 or $350 a month is a lot for a gym membership, the reality is that there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that will buy their time back. So rather than spending, 10 hours in the gym a week, they're spending, It's probably under an hour a week with Body 20,
40
and all they're
minutes.
doing, they're buying their time back, right?
Not
And
only that, but if you do the math, we're cheaper than a personal trainer.
absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
I've hired personal trainers before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not inexpensive by any means.
that's right. And then finding real estate, right? So it's kind of an interesting thing because 2 years ago, when COVID hit, real estate everywhere. And
Right.
then there was a mad dash and a rush on real estate, and then it was all gone. And now we're starting to see that some of those people, quite frankly, who acquired those leases for that real estate because it was so cheap at the time, and the landlords were giving such incentives, all the TI, all those things, they maybe shouldn't have even gotten those leases in the first place. And so we're seeing those start to come up. Great locations, wrong
Yeah.
person, wrong business. They didn't do their due diligence, and now these things are starting to come back on the market. So that's
Right.
loosening up. You guys have the funding in place. I mean, you're. I started to say you're poised, but you're not poised for anything. You're already in it. You guys
Right.
are. It's a rocket ship.
We're in it. We're
So
and talk about openings. It's not just we're not just taking franchise fees, Mike, and banking that. We're opening. We'll open another 5 or 6 this year, and then in 2023, we're going to open between 65 and 75 units.
that's where it's
So,
at.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and we've got it. We've got a great plan. We've got great people. We've got every automotive tool that you can imagine in this little business, and it's really exciting to say the least.
So what's your ideal candidate look like, Bobby? What's a dream candidate looks like? Sound like they're multi-unit. I mean, semi-absentee. They're not in the gym every day training people.
They have to have a track record of success. They have to be well-rounded. They have to have the ability to understand, not be an accountant, but have a pretty good knowledge of a financial picture, right? Of the financial picture of a business.
Yeah.
To be able to look at a P&L and understand that, the sections in the in a P&L are really a percentage of what the gross sales total or sum is, right? So that's like, we want them to understand the financials. They're probably going to have an accountant. That's fine. Technology. We want them to be proficient and understand technology, not how to understand how to write code, but understand how to navigate their way through a CRM system or, some of the other tools that we use. So that's who we want. We want successful backgrounds, integrity. We want people who have great work ethics. And, with our process, we find all this out because there has to be face-to-face. We have to do a meal together. They have to do the workout. So we're with them a number of times. Man, we've taken great stakes to tell people yes, but we've also taken great strides to tell people no. Those
I applaud
are the
that.
toughest decisions, but man, if you don't do it, it will absolutely bite you on the back end because I've been there and I've got the teeth marks to prove it.
Absolutely. And you're doing people a favor in many cases. It's so hard for some folks to understand. They've gone through all this work, all this research. And of course, we coach them and tell them, listen, this has to be a fit for both sides. There's a lot of folks, Bobby, you know this, that'll walk in there with a check in their back pocket and a grin on their face, and they think that's good enough.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
reality is, it's absolutely not. If it's
You have
not
a pulse,
culturally
you have
aligned.
a pulse and a checkbook. Oh, you're in.
Yeah. No, and it's always hard when they come back to us and say, I didn't get approved, right? And I think that there's this embarrassment, there's this sense of loss. And what I explain to people is they probably just did you the biggest favor that
Yeah.
anyone's ever done you. Let's reevaluate. Let's take a step back. Let's reassess, reevaluate, and think about where we need to go from here. So, Bobby, I really appreciate you being with us. I know you're one of the busiest men in show business. So, what would be the take us out with any thought, final thoughts or parting words of wisdom as it relates to Body 20?
So, parting thoughts for Body 20. This, I think it's a all too much, too over an overused term in this industry when people say this is going to be a disruptor. And I always caution, my thought and, kind of raise an eyebrow, like, really another disruptor, this pizza is going to disrupt the pizza industry. This product's going to, but I'll tell you, not just Body 20, but EMS Fitness, I believe, because we're going to have more competitors. I applaud that. I applaud that now because we're the first mover and we've got a long head start behind or in front of number 2. But at some point, this thing is going to take this country by storm. And I mean, you look at our average member, 45 years of age. So it's a different animal, and we are going to be a disruptor, not just Body 20, but the entire concept of EMS Fitness. I think will be a disruptor in the fitness business.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here directly from the horse's mouth. Bob McQuillan, the Chief Strategy Officer, the equity partner and soon to be 6-unit franchisee of Body 20. Bob, thanks for spending time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Michael. Thank you so much.
All right, take care. Talk to you soon.
Take care.